I found out my coworker was homeless, and my decision changed everything. I didn't notice it at first. Mark was just quiet. Not the shy kind of quiet, more like the kind of person who shows up, does his work perfectly, and disappears before anyone really remembers he was there. No small talk, no complaints, no office gossip, just results. He worked 2 desks away from me for almost 8 months, and if you asked me back then, I would have said I barely knew him, but there were small things. He never joined us for lunch. He never ordered food. He always said I already ate, and he was always the first one in the office, and somehow the last one to leave. At first I thought he was just dedicated, maybe trying to impress management, but one Friday night changed everything. I had stayed late to finish a report. Around 10:30 p.m., the office was completely empty, or at least I thought it was. As I was packing up, I heard something, a faint noise, like a zipper. I turned around, and there he was, Mark, under his desk, pulling out a sleeping bag. For a second, my brain refused to process what I was seeing. "Hey," I said slowly. He froze. The kind of freeze you only see when someone gets caught doing something they never wanted anyone to see. We just stared at each other for a few seconds. Then he sighed, not defensive, not angry, just tired. "I was going to be gone before anyone noticed," he said. That line hit harder than anything else. Not if someone noticed. Before, I sat down across from him. Are you staying here?" He hesitated, then nodded. "Yeah." No big explanation, no dramatic story. Just, yeah. I didn't know what to say. So I asked the simplest question. Why? He looked at the floor. "My rent went up. I couldn't keep up. I thought I'd find something quickly, but it's been 3 months. 3 months. Working a full-time job, showing up every day, performing better than most people on the team, and going home to an office desk. I shower at the gym," he added quietly. "There's a 24-hour one 2 blocks away." Suddenly everything made sense. The early mornings, the late nights, the never eating out. He wasn't saving money. He was surviving. I wish I could say I immediately knew what to do. I didn't. I went home that night and couldn't sleep because the next decision mattered a lot. I could report it. Technically, what he was doing violated company policy, security rules, liability issues. If I told HR, they'd probably remove him from the building immediately. Help, in the corporate sense. But I knew what that really meant. He'd lose the only stable thing he had left. Or I could do nothing, pretend I never saw it. Let him keep surviving. But that didn't sit right either, because doing nothing is still a decision. So Monday morning, I did something else. I walked into my manager's office, closed the door, and said, "I need to tell you something, but only if we're going to help, not punish." He looked confused, but nodded. I told him everything. The sleeping bag, the gym showers, the 3 months. I expected hesitation. Corporate hesitation. Instead, he leaned back and just said, "Okay, let's fix this." That same week, things moved fast. We adjusted Mark's salary, quietly, under the justification of performance retention. We gave him a temporary, remote flexibility option so he didn't feel forced to stay in the office overnight. And most importantly, we connected him with a housing support program. The company had but barely advertised. Within 2 weeks, he had a small apartment. Nothing fancy, but it had a bed, a door, a place that was his. The weird part? His performance didn't suddenly skyrocket. It was already high. But something else changed. He started talking, joining lunch, laughing, existing like a human being instead of just functioning. A month later, he came up to me and said something I'll never forget. "You know what the worst part was?" he said. "Not being homeless." I looked at him confused. It was pretending I wasn't. That stuck with me, because there are probably more people like him than we realize. People doing everything right, still falling through cracks no one sees. And sometimes the difference between someone losing everything and getting their life back is just one person deciding not to look away.